you Capricorns, you have the Two of Pentacles and the World. So the World represents Capricorn in on itself anyway. So you showed up in your own reading, right? And then you have the Devil, right? Later into the reading. So definitely serious Capricorn influence here. So for you Capricorns, the Two of Pentacles, the World, and the Nine of Swords is about very much so your dreams and your goals and your aspirations, right? What you aspire to. The Two of Pentacles and the World represents, you want to have that type of, like I said, you want that type of lifestyle that you're with someone that gets you. The two of you have the whole world at your fingertips and plenty of time to actually nurture your children and, you know what I mean? Grow together and change. But then the Nine of Swords represents kind of the reality that a lot of you Capricorns are kind of dumped back into, right? Like you throw garbage out. But I'm not calling you garbage. I'm saying like you tip it over. And the idea is you want those things, but again, it's the self-doubt for some of you Capricorns where it's like you may perceive that you may never actually have those things. And that's part of what's really hurting your game in the first place. Because, well, first and foremost, you have to legitimately want it. It's like learning something. You have to want to learn it first so that you can actually grasp what it is that you're picking up. So it's the same thing when it comes to dating. You have to want to find that person in the first place. And this is something that a lot of people do, and that's essentially ruminate on what doesn't work. So you Capricorns have been doing that. So you have to watch out for ruminating about what won't work and how dating won't work for you, because you will literally create that reality for yourself, because you'll begin to get paranoid and you'll begin to worry yourselves up about why is it that you can't necessarily find anybody, and then that will essentially lead you to not actually having anyone in the first place. So it's like a self-revolving door. Now the Seven of Pentacles and the Sun is about how, but at the same time, the Seven of Pentacles is about, anytime I get the Seven card, when it comes to the Seven of Pentacles, Swords, Seven of Cups, Seven of Wands, it's really about work. So some of the things that you Capricorns may have let loose is your ability to work, or your work ethic a little bit. Kind of let that slip just a tad, in the sense of you've been kind of off your game once or twice. And, you're still very much so great at what you do, but you're not up to par with where you want to be, or where you were, or where you can be, right? And the reason why is because of the Sun card. It's because you're stressing out over, like I said, love, and because that's one of the things that you Capricorns want the most in life, is you want to be world renowned, and you want to be loved, you want to be respected. But the thing about it is that you're worrying too much about that, because that's an earth sign thing. All earth signs initially come into the world, or born into the world, wanting that same thing. Like me, myself, as a Virgo, I sometimes ask myself if my own audience really cares about me or whatnot, or maybe they're just trolling me. You understand what I'm saying? So, and I'm a Virgo myself. So that's an earth sign thing. But to answer the question, if people care about you, well, obviously they do. That's why it is that they have to give you so much problems. But we'll get into it. And the thing about it is that the Queen of Wands represents the quality of the people that you have met, right? Where they are attractive, but in all intents and purposes, you didn't necessarily last very long with them. The two of you didn't last long with each other because, and this is something that a lot of you Capricorns are not, you may not necessarily be paying attention to. Maybe it's because you're too good. I mean, it could be a crazy idea, but you have the Nine of Pentacles and the Devil, right? So the Nine of Pentacles represents, maybe it's because, especially in today's world, people want handicapped emotionally and mentally handicapped, dysfunctional people that are losers. And what I mean when I say that, I mean people who don't ever want to get out of their trauma enough to actually evolve and not use their traumas, and not use their traumas as a crutch for why it is that they are losers. And you Capricorns are still striving and you're still going, and despite what happens to you, you're still moving forward because you're tough as a rock. And people don't want to be around you because then they have to step their game up. You ever think about it like that? Because sometimes, this is what I mean when I said it, sometimes it's not about you. This is why it is that I'm saying in a lot of my other readings, if you go back to 2021 readings, don't get so offended. Because then, and this is what I even strive to talk about, even in, my readings and stuff like this, up to now, I kind of put that away, but I'm bringing it out again. You got to get to a point where you realize that not everything should be taken offensively. And when you do, you tie things to you that don't really matter, because too many, like for instance, like the situation that I just explained here, right? This is going to be a long video, but like the situation that I just explained here, in the sense that for you Capricorns, right? How it is that I said that maybe part of the reason why it is that people don't rock with you is because they like you too much, and that you put them in a position where they have to, like I said, climb that mountain. They have to do better. Otherwise, you're going to break them, and that they're not going to be able to actually keep up with you. You will overshadow them. And see, the thing is that if you are so caught up with your emotions, and I'm not saying you are, I'm saying in a general sense, if a person is so caught up with their emotions, they're going to thumbs down the video, they're going to be upset, they're going to be ranting and raving in the comment section about how I insulted you Capricorns, not even realize it, because some of them are too stupid and too mentally clouded to understand that what I was trying to say is because you're so good and you're so suited and booted, those people have to step their game up, and it creates a certain form of jealousy and envy, and that's what makes it difficult for them to interact with you, because they're with you, they're laying down with you, the psychosis of they're laying down with you on one hand, but on the other hand, they're in competition with you. So then it creates that feedback loop where it's like, it's that confusion of, which one where are you going with this? You cannot be jealous of the person that you laying with. That makes no sense. If this person is supposed to be your long-term bae, right, before anyone else, why are you so jealous of them to the point where you want to undermine them? So then now you have, right, the devil. That's the confusion of the whole thing. People don't know whether or not they're coming or going with you. So then you have the Wheel of Fortune, which represents the Cancer crabs, right? So this is about you Capricorns need patience. I know you want to be celebrities or world renowned and known and loved and respected, but you have to understand the world that we are living in right now, the whole Mandela effect. The world is going through a transformational time right now, where a transformational period right now where, the things that you really want, the world is burning away the nonsense. That's why we're starting to see two suns. The world is burning away the nonsense. And a lot of people will be like, well, what are you talking about, right? Like, what is this person talking about? I'm showing you, what I'm doing is I'm giving you examples of this reading, of how the main point of this reading is you as Capricorns, you want to be loved and cherished, right? And what I'm saying is that you can have those things. But what I'm saying is there's going to be a lot of people who you cannot associate with, because they are on their way to self-destruction. And that the best thing for you Capricorns to be is not one of them. Okay. So now the Ace of Cups now represents, so who should you hang out with? Like it is that I said before, hang out with somebody who sees what type of time you're on and wants and is inspired to step their game up. That's who you should be hanging around. So let's clarify some of these cards. Let's clarify the world. Nine of Swords, Hierophant, Six of Wands, Judgment. Yeah, you know, the Nine of Swords, the Hierophant, don't worry about, you should not take people not being able to hang around you. As long as you're respectful, as long as you're not bossy, as long as you don't try to undermine other people and undermine their choices, as long as you respect them, you should be good. You haven't crossed any lines. The Nine of Swords and the Hierophant represents people's problem with you is all fabricated. And that's something that you Capricorns have to learn to keep here and in here, your entire being. It's either you really cross the line or it's an act. Case in point, if they're still willing to talk to you, hang around you, engage with you, more than likely it's probably an act. Then you have the Six of Wands and the Judgment. So when you see this type of behavior happen, you Capricorns are supposed to feel no fear. Simply move on to somebody else that would move on to a new candidate, right? A new person in the dating pool that could potentially be your match.